All right, question 4 is a make or buy short-term decision that companies make. And there's a lot of information here, but don't be intimidated by these because make-buy decisions are actually not very difficult to calculate. What we're looking for with all of this stuff, and we'll pick it out in a second, we'll pick out the information that we need, but what we're looking for is what are the incremental changes. So if we decide to buy a product from an outside vendor instead of manufacturing it ourselves, what changes? Those are really the things we're looking at, and then we can figure out is it a good idea or a bad idea. So I'm going to scroll down here and start writing some of these things out. So the question is, what will be the impact on net operating income if we buy it? So if we buy the products, the rudders, well, that's going to cost us some money, right? So there's going to be the cost of purchasing it, and there's 11,000 rudders, and the cost is $21.20. That's what it would cost us to buy it from the outside vendor. Right there's what we could buy it for, and right there's the 11,000 that we're making. So we multiply that out, and that's a cost $233,200. Now, if we buy it, we get to have some savings, and what we get to save is the variable costs. So we no longer incur $5.90 for materials, $1.70 for labor, $5.40 for overhead, and we also get to avoid, we get to lay off a supervisor and save a supervisor's salary. So I add all of those up, and the variable costs, right? That's the key. What we get to avoid is the variable costs. We do not generally get to avoid fixed costs, and this tells us there's no other use for that equipment, so we don't get to avoid that depreciation. And then there's this general overhead allocation. We don't get to avoid that. So, I was going to add this up here. I'm sorry. So we add these up, and our our variable costs is $15.60. Now that's what we get to avoid, or you may think of that as a savings. This is a variable cost savings of 11,000 paddles times $15.60 is a savings of $171,600. Okay, now that in of itself, that doesn't look very good. We ought to just keep making it. Well, there's some more information. If we make it, or excuse me, if we buy it instead of make it, we free up space in our manufacturing, and we can then produce something else, and that's going to create additional contribution margin of $29,000. So we're going to have additional contribution margin, that's a savings, of $29,000. So if we buy, the cost is $233,000, but we save, our savings is, these two together are, well, I'll put it here, $200,600. Okay, so what's the impact on net operating income? If we buy the rudders, we are $32,600 worse off, or operating income will decrease by that amount. Based on our information then, should we purchase them or continue to make them in-house? We should make. If we make, why not? Well, why should we make it? Because we'll have $32,600 more of operating income. What other factors should we consider? When we are thinking about making versus buying? Well, Some of these are probably non-financial factors, like we're going to lay some people off, so we won't have direct material costs, or we won't have a supervisor's salary, so some people are going to lose their jobs. There may be within our community, there may be some public relations backlash, there may be some political backlash, so there can be some other factors that we would want to consider.